What's up, my comic comrades? Today we're going to be breaking down the origins of Iron Maiden and Yelena Belova, two characters that will be making their MCU debut in the Black Widow solo movie. Melina Vostokoff, a.k.a. Iron Maiden, is being played by Rachel Weisz, and Yelena Belova is being played by Florence Pugh. So since we have two origins to talk about, let's get started, starting with Iron Maiden. She first appeared in Marvel Fanfare issue 11 in July of 1983, and was created by Ralph Macchio and George Perez. Vostokoff was originally an agent working for the Russian government. But the best Russia had was the legendary Black Widow, forcing Iron Maiden to live in her shadow, which ultimately led her to develop extreme hatred for Black Widow. Because of this, she left Russia and became a freelance assassin and mercenary, killing anyone she was paid to catch or kill. Soon her dream job came true when Iron Maiden was part of several assassins sent to kill Black Widow. But come on, did she really think she was going to defeat Black Widow? I mean, I'm sure she did, but she was wrong. However, she did outlast the other assassins and could have killed Black Widow, but Jimmy Woo, accompanied by several S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, interrupted the fight, saying, "Hold on. That's right, Jimmy Woo is not an original character for the MCU. They plucked him from the comics, and Randall Park does an incredible job playing him. He was one of my favorite parts of WandaVision, hands down." Anyway, he tells Iron Maiden, release the woman at once or risk learning if that exoskeleton can survive this high-powered firearm at point-blank range. Will you take the risk or release the widow? Your answer, please. Iron Maiden then pulls Black Widow closely to her face, saying, "It's not over between us. You shall yet know death in my hands. Do svidaniya, Black Widow," which, as you may assume, is goodbye in Russian. Iron Maiden then proceeds to make her getaway, pummeling through Woo and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, while narration says, with speed that belies the weight of her metal shell, the Iron Maiden springs through her enemies, arms flailing with devastating effect. The abruptness of the attack overwhelms them, and in an instant, she is gone. Black Widow then tells Jimmy, "Well, wait before you chase her. I slipped a homing device onto her. She won't be hard to find." Widow then tracks her down in a sewer somewhere, where Iron Maiden says, "What a fitting place for your defeat, Natasha. You who are always held in awe by our contemporaries, who received the highest accolades in your profession, will meet your end in the lowest of surroundings. In the stench of a common sewer. This is your final resting place, Black Widow. Are you sickened by it?" Black Widow responds, "I'm sick of all your taunts, Melina," as she starts attacking Iron Maiden. The two then continue to fight, but Jimmy steps in saying, "This is going no further. Take another step and I'll blast that arm off of you." Iron Maiden says, backed by three other agents equipped with equal firepower, perhaps, but alone, laughable, as she starts walking towards him. Black Widow then tells Woo, "She knows firearms, Woo. We can't bluff her. Your only chance is to aim at the concrete beneath her. Listen to me." So he does, blasting a hole which causes the sewer to literally suck Iron Maiden down as if it's a giant toilet. And before Iron Maiden gets sucked down, she says, "I won't die without my revenge. Must have my revenge." With Black Widow saying, "Do svidaniya, Melina." And that, my friends, is who Iron Maiden is and where she came from, and the first encounter we ever saw her have with Black Widow. But I want to talk about her powers and abilities. First and foremost, she looks awesome because she's wearing dope metal armor. It's flexible metal armor that protects her from most impacts, as well as insulating her against energy attacks. But it doesn't just act as a shield, it also increases her strength. No, nothing like the Hulk, but comparable to the strength of Captain America. So you could say it gives her super soldier level strength. Besides her armor giving her an upper hand in several areas, Melina is an extremely skilled master in armed combat, and one of the best assassins and espionage agents in the Marvel Universe. But now let's move on to Yelena Belova, who first appeared in Inhumans Volume 2, Issue 5 in January of 1999. She was created by Devin Grayson and J.G. Jones. Yelena, like Natasha, was trained in the Red Room Academy, and at the age of 15, she was chosen to be the next candidate to become the new Black Widow, because Natasha Romanova at this point was no longer loyal to Russia. Yelena graduated from the Red Room to become the first student to surpass Romanova's scores. Because of this, she was extremely eager to prove herself and took claim to the Black Widow mantle. She even interfered with Natasha's mission for the Deathless Frenzy bioweapon. Yelena was trying to take the lethal serum for herself to give it to her superiors and kill Natasha in the process. But Natasha's experience enabled her to easily outmaneuver Yelena and complete her mission. However, at the end of all this, Yelena pulled a gun on Natasha, but let her live so they can continue to compete to see who's the better Black Widow. From here, the two of them would have a friendly / not so friendly rivalry with one another. In summary, Yelena would be known as the second Black Widow and later become the White Widow. Which begs the question, would you rather see Yelena become the new Black Widow in the MCU, or take up an identity of her own, replacing Natasha's Black Widow as the White Widow? Let us know in the comments. With that said, let's take a look at her powers and abilities. Yelena was extensively trained in espionage and various forms of armed and unarmed combat, just like Natasha. She is also a master martial artist and Olympic-level gymnast. As for the outfit she wears, it's reinforced with Kevlar, giving her a decent amount of resistance to small gunfire. And she's worn a duplicate of Natasha's wrist devices, enabling her to discharge electrical blasts as her widow's bite. But besides the physical, she is very intelligent and an excellent businesswoman. With that said, at one point, Yelena was asked by AIM to become an adaptoid, which would allow her to adapt the powers of others around her. She can even adapt several different powers at once, but the limit of how many, we don't know for certain. Either way, with this upgrade, she was able to adapt the powers of Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Sentry, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, and Spider-Woman, all at the same time. Talk about OP. But with all that said, now it's time for some reading recommendations. Let's start off with Iron Maiden. Check out Marvel Fanfare issues 11 through 12, Captain America issues 388 through 392, and Invincible Iron Man 595. As for Yelena Belova, check out Widowmaker's Red Guardian and Yelena Belova, Marvel Knights Black Widow, Black Widow Volume 2, The Things They Say About Her, and Secret Avengers Volume 1, Reverie. That should be enough to get you all started. And that's gonna bring today's episode of Variant to a close, but if you enjoyed today's origin video, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.